Hello, Musto0063 back for part 16, probably the final part of the Shovel Knight Let's Play. I say probably, not definitely, I will clarify that just a bit later. But yeah, this is the video where I kind of wrap up everything as much as I feel I can, 100% everything, you know, show off getting all the, completing all the feats and whatnot. So yeah, going to be quite a reasonably long one, and I'm going to be kind of playing through levels a little bit at a time, or replaying some of the levels, but hopefully it's not too boring. But first thing I'm going to do is, on that main menu you saw there was something called New Game Plus. I'll come back to that in just a moment, but I decided for the moment just to click no on that, so you can indeed go back through the game, just to show here as well that if you do click no, that you start off pretty much where you were with all levels complete. You have all your, you know, relics and health and whatnot. And here is me just getting the five final music sheets back to the bard, because you say you can't do that having collected them in the last level without, you know, restarting the game to some degree. So yeah, here is me adding the final 5 music sheets to the bard and getting the Music Lover achievement for doing so. So yay, that's all the way through the game and every single music sheet collected. So you know, it's got a full collection, and if I so wished, I could hear all the splendid music throughout the game. So I've gone back to the plains here before I maybe show off some of the other modes. There are a few achievements that I kind of need to do, or feats that I can only really accomplish by replaying levels in their entirety. So you're going to see a few of those. Don't worry, I'm not going to spend anywhere near as much time as I did, you know, during the main game on some of the levels. Basically because I'm not going to bugger about finding all the hidden passages and collecting music sheets and whatnot, so I'm just going to go straight for, you know, head toward the boss and not mess around, you know, going through all the finding breakable walls and whatnot. So yeah, they're going to go by in probably about half the time that levels did previously. So some of them are about, you know, maybe 8 to 10 minutes, and yeah, I think they're going to go by at about 4-5 minutes or so. So yeah, a lot less time. Before I kind of maybe go through the feats I'm trying to do on this one, I'll save that for maybe when I get to the boss. Yeah, I just thought I'd probably spend a little bit of time, final part of this Let's Play, I assume, just kind of, you know, talking about, you know, the game in general, and just expanding more on why I, you know, absolutely love this game. I'm going to go off on a slight tangent during this first stage that I'm replaying, so I hope you'll bear with me on that. I do want to kick off by saying that this is, what is it now, end of June, and so far this is my absolute favourite game of 2015, no question. Admittedly, I probably haven't played many new games or games for the first time this year, but you know, there are some of them, and there are certainly some I'm looking forward to playing. But Mighty Number 9 being one of those. But yeah, it would have to go a hell of a long way to beat Shovel Knight, frankly. In case anyone's curious, and this is the tangent I was going to go off and talk about, was that my favourite game of last year, 2014, was the Professor Layton vs Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney crossover. And I am a huge fan of the Professor Layton series. You know, the first time I got my Nintendo 3DS, I've just been playing all those games. Got round to the beginning of 2014 and played the final game in the main series, I think Azran Legacy, and this new kind of crossover game came up, and I was like, wow, this is, well, it's Professor Layton, so I kind of knew of Phoenix Wright, but I've never really immersed myself in the series or played the games. So yeah, I kind of took a chance on it. It was Professor Layton. I thought I'd kind of like it, and absolutely fell in love with the Phoenix Wright kind of element of the game, and indeed the series. After that, I went and purchased all the games that I could, you know, in the series, and 2014 was the year of Phoenix Wright. I pretty much played those games from, I think it was probably April through to, you know, the end of the year. So I cannot kind of speak highly enough of that series. Yeah, I just say absolutely fell in love with it, and yeah, if 2014 was the year of Phoenix Wright, and my favourite game from the year was the Professor Layton vs Phoenix Wright crossover. So, and both that game and indeed this game, Shovel Knight, would almost certainly go on my list of all-time favourite games, and I'm thinking like, you know, top 10 or something like that. If not, then they'd be very close to it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of, you know, platformers and kind of puzzle games, and these games just were an absolute joy to play. That's probably as much of a tangent as I want to go off on that point in time. I do want to speak a little bit about the achievements I'm going for here. So the 4 I'm actually going for, 2 of them kind of a bit later to the boss, but the 2 kind of level ones related are clear a stage by not taking a hit, so no damage. So that goes in very nicely with my Mega Man Perfect Run kind of idea. There's also one for shovel economy, which is don't swing the shovel more than 20 times or fewer than 20 times during the stage. So you might have noticed during that stage I didn't really swing the shovel that much, hence I was going for that achievement. As you can see here, Black Knight, when you've got all your relics and everything like that, the flare wand makes absolutely short work of him to the nth degree. This is a ridiculous fight when you have all the weapons and projectiles you need. Yeah, I also got 2 achievements for, or actually another achievement for level related, sorry, which is on a diet, which is go through an entire level without eating any food. The other one was Sparker, which was defeat a boss, so that's either a Black Knight or an Order of No Quarter Knight, or maybe some of the Wandering Travellers, with a spark shot. So yeah, I just used the flare wand to cream Black Knight, get him into a corner, and then with the final shot with my upgraded shovel, just yeah, fire the spark shot into him. So that's 4 achievements on the one run. Yay! Next up, I'm just doing a bit. There's a little bit of a time cut there, but I just did a bit. I was doing a bit of preparation for the next set of kind of level achievements that I wanted to go for. So up front, they are clear an Order of No Quarter Knight stage without collecting any money, which is an interesting one. It means you've got to go a little bit slower and not kind of collect, you know, the money that the enemies drop and opening treasure chests and so on. And also one for defeat an Order of No Quarter Knight without taking any damage. So what I did there was I went to the Troupple Pond and had the Troupple King fill up a couple of 10-second invincibility chalices, so, or potion, or fill them with potions. So yeah, when I come to the boss, I can use those potions with my invincibility, and it should make not taking any damage a hell of a lot easier. Now, for the stage I've kind of picked, I think it kind of works very well for both challenges actually. Dirt Poor is the achievement you get for not collecting any money anywhere. So as you notice here, I'm being very careful not to kind of collect, you know, in particular the and I was very, very close there. The money that enemies drop, and so you have to, you know, you could always, I guess I could kind of use relics. I could have used the flying dagger to have flown over that, but yeah, why take the risk? But King Knight is actually probably one of the, I think, the best levels to actually achieve that. There doesn't seem to be, I don't know, a lot. The level itself is very short. So that's probably a kind of a good thing. Generally, it's reasonably easy to avoid, you know, the money. So one thing, definitely don't break apart any checkpoints. But King Knight as well also is probably one of, if not the easiest Order of No Quarter Knights to do, or, you know, to beat by not taking any damage. I guess I'd possibly say maybe Tinker Knight as well, if you use the mobile gear on his first phase to completely cheese that. But overall, I would say, you know, even if you weren't using, I mean, if you're going to use, you know, the phase locket and just, or abuse the phase locket and just kind of continuously, you know, activate it again and again and again, or indeed, as I've done here, a little bit by, well, no, I'd say not quite cheating, but, you know, by filling up the chalices, then it's going to make, it's still, you know, it's going to, whatever boss you go for is going to be quite easy. But all things equal, King Knight is probably one of the ones that you want to go to if you were doing a, you know, no damage run. I think he's probably the easiest from that in that regard, or possibly Tinker Knight. This bit in particular, do be careful. I say I will point out a few things on the stages. There were some, if you remember from the first time I played that level, there were some little money pellets hiding behind the flags there. So yeah, do be a little bit careful. You'll know clearly if you have hit one, then you know, you'll hit a little sound, and there's probably a little like I say, a little number that will appear on the screen, that will, you know, from upgrading the points. I'm steering well clear of this Griffin mini boss when he explodes, because he's going to blow out not only food but a whole bunch of potions and money, which I don't want to go anywhere near. But yeah, there are a few areas where you need to be a little bit careful. But, and I say here, ordinarily I would just kill these enemies, but I want to get by the level reasonably quickly. I don't want to, you know, phase lock, it just seems quite a nicer option there. I also don't want to have to kind of take too much damage here because I don't know where all the money is coming out here. As you can clearly see, there's one there. There's also money hidden behind the drapes or the flags or whatnot again, so can't just jump over this little area. So yeah, thought I'd take a little bit of time here to clear the path of enemies just to make sure I'm not taking damage over and over again. Although I could have got out a relic and you know, maybe the Warhorn would have been a good one to get out there, but anyway. I guess the only thing another thing to kind of be careful on is this enemy here. Actually, he's kind of annoying. You don't particularly want to kill him. You also don't want to pogo in that section because sometimes the floor will have money, and if you collect that. Also, if you happen to pogo off the shield or the knight there, again, there's money behind the drape or the curtain or the flag, or whatever. And yeah, if you pogo off the enemy and go there to try and avoid taking damage, then yeah, you'll also kind of fail as well. And so close to the end of the level, you really don't want that. So yeah, we're pretty much there. We've just got one more Griffin mini-boss to deal with. Again, frankly, I could have just used well, frankly, I could have just passed him and taken the damage. If I'm going for a no damage on King Knight anyway, it wouldn't make any difference. But I could have used the phase locket and just got past this guy. I don't really know why I didn't, but yeah, anyway, here's me spending a bit more time than I really should. I kill the Griffin, and of course that means I have to stand miles clear when he explodes because I don't want to collect any money. So yes, that's the level done, and well, I said King Knight was, yeah, he's definitely the easiest to beat without taking any damage, but going in with two invincibility chalices is certainly a good backup. By the way, at a later point in time, I did figure out which button I need to press in order to just skip the text completely without having to scroll through it. Yeah, there's a couple of times actually in this fight that I do kind of get not caught out because I actually get the achievement, I don't take damage, but there's a couple of times where he kind of like slams into the ground and potentially would stun me that I just about got away with. The first one was a few seconds or so ago, which would have been really fatal to me. The next one's actually coming up while I'm using the chalices here anyway, so it wouldn't have made too much of a difference. But yeah, if I hadn't used the chalice there, I would have got stuck there, and he could have come over and got me. So I just about got that in time. Well, there you go, untouched. So that's defeating an Ultra No Quarter Knight without taking any damage, and Dirt Poor for clearing the level without collecting any gold. You hopefully will have noticed that my gold counter did not go up at all during that level. Okay, so that's, at least without replaying the game all over again, all the feats that I kind of wanted to show off by replaying a level in its entirety. But now I'm going to kind of just go through all the feats that just require you to meet certain requirements. So the very first one I'm doing here is defeat a certain type of enemy and the same type of enemy using all the relics. So that does include the phase locket. It also includes the fishing rod, I'm led to believe, and so you actually, slightly disappointingly, I'd somewhat apparently sometime during the game previously, that I'd actually killed one of these enemies with a fishing rod. I don't know whether it was just kind of hovering somewhere very close to a fishing spot where I got out the weapon and decided to use it. So I was kind of hoping to show them off all here. Frankly, I still could have done, but yeah, basically what you want to do is, say this spot here is a perfect place to do it. You're right at the beginning of the level, and you just need to take out the various enemies, making sure you use all the relics. The chalices don't count, but yeah, make sure if you use all the relics, you'll get the relic round table achievement for defeating all the enemies with all the relics. At this point in time, I'm kind of coming out of levels and going back in, so you'll see my gold count decrease and whatnot back again. I don't need to save my progress here, but the feat will save itself. Here is a very good spot on King Knight stage to get the Flare Wanderer achievement, which is defeat an enemy from about 25 blocks away. So yeah, that enemy there crawls right over to the side of the screen and is a very, very good place because the screen is so wide in order to get that achievement. You need to be a little bit careful with the timing there and make sure it is kind of pretty much as far away over as possible, but yeah, it's a good spot nonetheless. Again, in King Knight stage, here is one. I got my flying feat for defeating 3 enemies without touching the ground using the flying dagger, and I was somewhat I feel like I cheesed that a bit. I mean, I don't think I quite touched the ground there, but I failed the first attempt where I was clearly clearly a bit more above the ground, and it was much more noticeable. But the one I actually got, I did use the the dagger 3 times in quick succession and kill 3 of these little helicopter mice. But it was so close to the ground, it didn't quite feel like I was off the ground. But anyway, nonetheless. Here I am trying to mucking around with these little enemies again, going for the Arc of Iron achievement, which I get here, and that's killing 3 enemies with the same throwing anchor. So moving on, this is Spectre Knight's stage, and here I'm after I'm reflecting this little coin, and this is probably by far the easiest place to do it. It's right at the start of the level again, meaning you don't have to go too far through the level in order to get it. But yeah, set the coin off, whack it back into this into the little thing that allows you to, or that you hit and you can pogo to get greater height off, and you get the reflected riches achievement. Yay, nice easy one. Here we are in Plague Knight stage, and this area down here, as you can see, there are lots of enemies. So it's a very good place to get out the mobile gear, and basically run over everything. And it would have been better if that stupid rat hadn't jumped up and hit me. But anyway, we ran over 5 enemies with the same mobile gear, so we get a nice little feat. And a few moments later, again, all the enemies respawn. I set off a massive Chaos Spheres and get the Super Sphere achievement for defeating 5 enemies again with the Chaos Sphere. There are loads of areas throughout the levels where you could get all these achievements. I've always found the ones I'm probably doing the easiest. And yeah, well, this is an interesting point of the game. Yes, I just died. Completely deliberate, I didn't mess up anything there. There is an achievement for collecting 2,000 gold while standing on spikes. So this is a little bit of a difficult one to get unless you, or with the phase locket, sorry. So yeah, obviously you couldn't stand on spikes, but with just normal money, it's a bit tricky to get. But the quickest and easiest way to do it is to die in an area where the gold's definitely going to respawn above spikes, and then you collect your respawnable sack of gold. And provided you have enough gold when you drop it, then that's a really, really easy way to get that achievement. So you can do it by collecting money just laying around, as you can clearly see on this screen, for instance. There are just gems naturally lying around. But yeah, actually dying in a place where the gold is clearly going to be collectible while on spikes seems to be the easiest place to do it. Here is me just kind of showing off. I talked about this in part 13, but this is the reflect Lord achievement, sorry, for reflecting 30 projectiles, and this is a very, very good easy spot to just keep doing it. You can do it as you go through the game, but yeah, if you are kind of struggling, then that's a pretty easy one to do. I'll do it on. And that doesn't leave too many, just 4 actually. So in order to get the other 4, I'm going to have to kind of replay the game again. So I've only played the game once at this point in time. This is my second go through, so I'm now doing it on New Game Plus, and that means I will show off the planes level again, just so you can see some of the differences throughout the game. So you can also see that I have got my full health. I'm up at 10 kind of pellets there. I've got all my relics, I have all my armour upgrades, I have all my shovel upgrades. So yeah, when you start New Game Plus, you do obviously indeed have all the upgrades and equipment that you previously got while completing the game the first time around, and that makes it. Well, it's certainly a helping hand. I wouldn't say it makes it too easy, because the game is quite a bit harder actually on New Game Plus mode. So I thought I would show off one of the levels just so I could demonstrate what does change. Unfortunately for you, fortunately for me, I don't get hit an awful lot, so it's probably a bit difficult to demonstrate. But you do take more damage when enemies hit you, particularly Order of No Quarter Knights. So they do a hell of a lot more damage, and that obviously makes things a lot trickier. On this screen, you will perhaps notice earlier on this level, in this video, or indeed on the very first video in this Let's Play, that on that screen there was a checkpoint there. So on New Game Plus mode, the hard mode, there was no checkpoint there. So don't despair, there are not no checkpoints throughout the game, or throughout levels, but yeah, there are much fewer. So do be careful. You need to go progress further through the level in order to get to a save point. I decided to kill this dragon enemy as well, rather than bypassing it, just to show you that you may also remember from saying earlier in this video that dragon previously dropped food, which would have been very good in terms of boosting my health again. No such luck this time. You'll find that most sub-bosses and whatnot, or indeed platters, which would normally have food, now have bombs in. So in addition to you taking more damage, and I really, really royally screwed up here. I think that's the only time I took damage during the screen, but oh, well, that was really, really clumsy of me. Yeah, in addition to taking more damage, you have far fewer opportunities to, you know, access food in order to increase your health. So yeah, do be careful when replaying the game, because yeah, you will find that your health decreases a lot quicker than it perhaps ordinarily would do. And here's me showing off again, just to reiterate the point I just made, that yeah, there are indeed bombs in plateaus. Not all of them, but some of them. I think that's kind of more or less the main differences between New Game Plus and you know, regular. The main ones being that you take more damage, particularly from bosses. You have fewer checkpoints throughout the levels, and the food is either, well, I say non-existent, but there's there's far fewer opportunities to you know, if you do get hit, to get your health back. So yeah, they are the main differences between the game. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. If you think back to maybe the first dragon that I encountered on this stage, it didn't take any longer to kill, so and all the enemies I have been destroying, particularly for a first stage, they still take their 1 or 2 hits for an opening stage to kill, so it's not like the enemies themselves have beefier, you know, health or anything like that. The boss fights, as far as I can tell, are not any different, or they don't have any new moves or what and such. They don't take any less damage, but I say they will do more damage to you. But yeah, the levels and the sort of the gameplay themselves, I guess, are not any kind of different. And so the stages are absolutely identical. So they don't, like, you know, take away platforming, you know, or certain platforms and make certain areas trickier. It's simply the things I've already discussed. Here, thankfully, I got to the point in time where I did find the button to completely scroll through, or to scroll through all the text. But yeah, and here's me pointing out once again that we might be playing on New Game Plus, the hard mode, but Black Knight is still just as easy as he was a moment ago. And because it is New Game Plus, I just decided to kind of stick around for about 30 seconds or so, just to show off again that we really are starting the game afresh, if you will. So for beating the first stage, we get another dream sequence, which is, well, obviously by far, or I wouldn't even call it, it doesn't even deserve to be called the easiest one, because frankly, we're not fighting any enemies or anything. It's simply just, you know, catch Shield Knight. So yeah, it's kind of the opening dream sequence, but yeah, we're starting the game again, we've got it, and also when this is complete, we'll see that we're kind of starting off the map completely anew again, so we'll have the clouds in the way, and yeah, you'll see that there are padlocks and such, so we can't actually progress through the game until we beat certain order of no quarter knights. So yeah, we really are yeah, playing the game pretty much completely from scratch, although it is very, very nice to have all your health, relics, any weaponry, armour you had, and indeed all your gold as well. So yeah, I'm not going to show off the entirety of the game on New Game Plus. I think that's pretty much sufficient. I will show off the final boss, just so that I can kind of demonstrate that I did indeed beat the game. So this will be my second time through, and show off a quickened version of the credits, at least anyway, just so that I can show off that I did indeed get my achievements. So the ones I got here were complete the game on New Game Plus, kind of fairly standard. I still hate this attack. I don't know why. I had a fine time, you know, the first time I played this game, you know, when it was blind, if you will. But look at the damage I've taken there as well. Jeez. But yeah, I got again for completing the game on New Game Plus, and I also got Penny Pincher for completing the game without spending any money. Now that's a little bit of a controversial one, and I'm going to talk about that maybe in a moment in terms of what I did to almost correct it. But basically, as it naturally kind of sounds, you get that for completing the game without making any purchases. But because it's New Game Plus, I keep all the equipment, all my health upgrades, all the magic that I got when I completed the game the first time. So I'm kind of naturally not going to spend any money while doing. I cut out the the bit where you see all the knights and see all the knights kind of getting their comeuppance and whatnot. So we just skip right ahead to the credits. But yeah, I'm naturally going to get Penny Pincher almost, by default. So I decided to kind of replay the game for the third time to get those 2 final achievements I need. Without actually spending any money. There are a few times where you have to be kind of careful, so do not help or get the fight with Mr. Hat. So that's getting helping the mooters out in the shop. Do not play the Mona potion minigame. Do not enter the Hall of Champions. All those require you to spend money. So and you could in theory do all those again, but yeah, don't do that. They will cost you money. Yeah, if you don't do that, then you've naturally kind of bought all the health upgrades, the magic, the armour, the shovel upgrades and whatnot that you need. So yeah, I'll come back to that in a moment. This is my digging log for New Game Plus. I thought I would not be a coward and show off how much I screwed up, particularly in the flying machine. Thank you very much, Propeller Knight. And thank you, Tower of Fate entrance, Black Knight. That's probably me being a little bit proud in not using like chalices and the phase locket. I just much prefer, for my own personal sense of achievement, beating them properly. But yeah, that's why I died so much on on those 2 levels, Propeller Knight and the third Black Knight fight. Oh boy. But anyway, here we go again. This is with the final boss again, just to show off. I did it, and I'll show off the kind of achievements, feats getting at the end. My third playthrough. So this is to get the Hurry Up achievement, which is to beat the game in under an hour and a half, and beat the game without purchasing any relics. Now I couldn't do that on New Game Plus, having purchased relics during the main game. But you'll notice here, as I've said with Penny Pincher, that I did do this about as bare bones as I could. So I did not purchase, because this was only a relic one. I didn't have to do this. As long as I didn't purchase any relics, I'd have been fine. I did not purchase any armour upgrades, any shovel upgrades. You can see my health up there is at 7 hit points, so I did not purchase any additional, or purchase the 3 meal tickets I could have done. I did get some meal tickets just in general for clearing the dream sequences. And, those are in those chests, but no, I did not purchase any additional meal tickets, so yeah, I am really doing this bare bones, and that was, again, just for my own kind of peace of mind, feeling like I'd somewhat cheated the Penny Pincher achievement. But if you don't feel such guilt, then don't feel the need. And yeah, again, here's all the credits again and whatnot. I'll speed them up again, at least for the most part, till we get to the digging log. But yeah, with Black Knight dropping Shovel Knight off, his bonfire, campfire site. Here are the final 2 achievements: Hurry Up, beat the game in an hour and a half, and True Chivalry, clear the game without purchasing any relics. That is all the feats, all the achievements done. And yeah, that's about as 100% as I can get at the moment. So yeah, as we just kind of watch the credits scroll through quickly until we get to the digging log, you'll notice that I did die during my Hurry Up run. So it's not impossible by any means to do without dying. So don't feel like if you die then you're screwed. You obviously need to go pretty quick. It is, I won't say it's very easy to do this. It is difficult. All I can really advise is don't spend any time mucking around finding secret passages and whatnot. If you feel like you want to buy certain relics, I'd probably recommend the flare, the phase locket, and the flare wand. But other than that, probably don't bother. As for deaths, I died once terribly in Lost City. In the bug area, I got hit by one of those Medusa head equivalent enemies and fell in the lava. Plague Knight got me, who's a very difficult Autumn Quarter Knight when you only have, I think it was only 5 health at that point in time, so he was quite difficult. And as you perhaps already saw, I died once on I think it was the first stage of the Enchantress. So yeah, I lost 3 lives, but 1 hour 19, I'm still comfortably well within beating it in an hour and a half. But yeah, that would be my advice. Yeah, just don't really go shopping for all that much, and certainly don't go kind of off the beaten path during the levels, unless you are going for maybe the phase locket or the flare wand. But beyond that, just head all the way for the exit, and certainly don't, if you can on the map, avoid the second Black Knight fight, the Wandering Travellers. Don't go and visit the Hall of Champions. There are so many different so many kind of extras to kind of to the main game that you certainly don't want to do when you're trying to trying to get the hurry up achievement. And yeah, I completed all the feats going through the game just 3 times. I guess in theory, I don't know whether it's actually possible to do it in 2. I'm assuming yes, if you beat the game the first time around on a hurry up achievement in an hour and a half and you didn't purchase any relics or anything. But frankly, no one's going to do that. So unless you have prior knowledge that you need to do that, I don't think there's any way in which you can get all the feats and all the achievements without having to complete the game 3 times, because you've got to complete it at least once to get the first victory achievement, and you have to beat it on New Game Plus to get the again achievement. But yeah, you'd have to get the hurry up achievement by clearing it in under an hour and a half, and you'd either have to do that with only 2 runs, you'd have to do that on your first go. So yeah, unlikely to happen. So as I kind of just scroll through, let's spend a little bit of time at the end here. That's pretty much the game done. Showing off the feats and whatnot. I do want to say kind of a few kind of extra things on what I'm, just going back again to the fact that I love this game. I'm a huge fan of the kind of the platformers. I was obviously a huge fan, as you well know, of Mega Man, which the game kind of borrows heavily off from. I love DuckTales, which again is kind of another kind of genre or whatever, or game that this game kind of borrows heavily from. It's got the kind of the Zelda element to it, and maybe kind of the Super Mario element on the map screen, although not too much from the gameplay point of view. But a lot of people say this feels like a game that would have come out in the NES era. To me, no, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it would. It feels like it's too polished to come out. Maybe I'm thinking about 20 so years ago now, probably, or possibly longer ago than that. It's clearly got maybe a kind of NES style to it, but to me this game never felt like, or it doesn't feel like it would have come out then. It just, I can't quite put my finger on it, but just blending so many elements to it. It does such a good job of almost not doing anything new in particular, but feeling like a completely new experience when you play it. I know that's really kind of bizarre to describe kind of that, but that's just how I kind of feel with the game. It felt like a completely new experience, and one that I absolutely loved. I love, just all the characters and everything. The Order of No Quarter Knights are all brilliant. I love all of them. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The story serves the game well. It's just a joy, this game. I kind of just completely fall in love with it. And the best part is, I'm not even done. I may well be done with the Let's Play, and this is what I said probably. I could, in theory, show off more on this game. I can't, as of the moment, as of the date, as when this is uploaded, it's the end of June. And there's nothing extra coming, but this is not the end of the game. There's a whole bunch of extra content that's coming that Yacht Club Games are working on. So the principal among them being the 3 campaigns for certain nights. So there will be campaigns for King Knight and Spectre Knight, and the one that's coming up most next, Plague Knight, Plague of Shadows. And I was, in theory, that should have come out by the end of June, but I guess that's not going to happen. I'm slightly disappointed about that, but not too much. But yeah, there's a whole new game mode, so I get to play the game from start to finish as Plague Knight. So the levels are going to be designed differently. You're going to have different moves and different skill sets for Plague Knight. There's also going to be a challenge mode. This game's just going to go on and on and on. I don't plan on doing a Let's Play of anything else, to be honest, but I won't say definite no on that. But yeah, this game is not done by any means. There's more to come. By the way, because I'm doing this on Steam and I have an 3DS and a Wii U version, I haven't got a PS4 Xbox, so I've not played the versions with Kratos or Battletoads. They look phenomenal, by the way, particularly the Battletoads one. If I had to say which, if you owned lots of multiple consoles and you had to choose a version, play the Xbox version. The Battletoads, fight or element is freaking awesome, or looks freaking awesome. But yeah, that's more or less all I kind of wanted to do, all I kind of wanted to say here. I am going to show off the boss rush from my New Game Plus mode. So, as at the time I am recording this audio, I really hope I don't get hit with a copyright violation on what I'm hoping to upload. If I do, I will speak over the top of it. But yeah, this is this bit of music kind of fits just so perfectly with not only the game but this particular area of the thing. Thank you so much, Propeller Knights. You really screwed me over there. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't get cut or hit by the copyright. Enjoy.
Fighting with all they've got. Hyper Camelot. Riding to danger, evil beware. Our powerful horses carry us there. We are valiant knights. Our justice. Fighting with all of our might. Save the kingdom, hail to the crown. We stand for what's right. Many years ago, the Kingdom of Britannia stood proud, defying the forces of evil guarded by Arthur and his magical sword, Excalibur! Now there are many who would see this great land fall. These stalwart knights will stop them through chivalry, honor, and teamwork. Go knights, defend the realm! Oh, brave Sir Lancelot, your power shines through your spirit. Percival, Galahad, and King Arthur, the way. These warriors seek the Grail, but Mordred's army lurks near it. This is their story. Hyper Camelot. Fighting with all they've got. Guinevere was captured as well. Draw Excalibur, save her right away. Hyper Camelot.
So that is the end of this Let's Play. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been so much fun for me. I love this game. And just as Shovel Knight, it's time for me to exit. Stage right. Cheerio.